Welcome back to episode 2 of the podcast. Ian's always really quiet on his mic. You can right click his name and then make him louder.
Wait, I'm too quiet.
You're always too quiet. I normally have you at 150%.
Okay, I'll try and figure it out for next time. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll just have a soft voice.
You do.
So we're gonna start with Legacy first, and then we're gonna move on to next gen. Actually, one thing, kind of misinformation, I guess. The podcast schedule, we're gonna be trying to do it every month after the good reception from last time. So ideally, we're gonna get it done by the end of the month, and then we'll publish it on the last weekend, or in this case, tomorrow, I believe.
Spotify tonight and YouTube early morning tomorrow because of processing.
Cool. So by the time this goes out, the patch won't be out yet. But it will be a few hours after. I'll be putting that live tomorrow.
Yeah. We think you're really gonna like the patch. Yeah, the patch is it's changing CrimeBloc in a lot of ways, but for the better, I feel.
Yeah. So I guess the first big news is the reset, right? A lot of people have been asking, when is the reset? And we are going to be resetting. It's not going to be on Monday. Don't worry. It will be on... I believe it will be on the 1st of March, correct?
Yes, because we wanted a month so people were aware of it. But this allows us to test out some other thing that we'll mention probably after this thing.
Yeah. So yeah, there will be a reset on the 1st of March. We will have a week of chaos if people want that.
They normally do. We didn't have one last time, did we?
I think we did, but it was very minor. And then I put out the Christmas event, so...
yeah, we've already had chaos this round.
We have, unfortunately, and we, as we said last time, we learned a lot from that event, so we're going to make sure that we don't repeat those mistakes.
Yeah.
So the game will go down on the 31st of February.
Yep.
And then it will be down for Thursday,
February 29th, because the 31st of February does not exist.
I'm looking at the wrong month. I was looking at January. I was like, okay.
Shall we discuss?
Down on the 29th, and then we'll reopen 1st or 2nd. But we'll get those dates to you as soon as we can.
Yeah. Regarding credits and rollovers, we'll discuss that in the post on the forum. We don't want to say anything verbally now and change our minds later. So we rather have a fully we know what we want to do, but I rather write it down and get it right first time instead of something being misinformation through voice.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So, moving on to the patch. We are bringing in the civilian class. And what this class means is you'll have access to the stock market. You'll have access to Moscow, which will become a civilian city.
Civilian only.
And there will also be... Yes. So you won't be able to fly there if you're not a civilian. But civilians can travel anywhere. Sorry, I just need to open another page. You won't be able to murder, obviously, as a civilian. It is a safe class. You'll be able to murder only in the operation. Can you hold casinos? Yes. You will be able to hold the casinos in Moscow. You will not be able to pick up any outside of Moscow. And PvP players will not be able to pick up properties in Moscow. Likewise, they can't gamble in there because they can't fly there.
So just a quick sidebar.
This was done mainly because...
Can the civilian class gamble in other cities other than Moscow? Okay, cool.
No. The reason for that is we don't want to imbalance things. And as we have learned this round especially, some people will abuse various things to the max, right? So we would fully expect people to create a civilian account, farm a bunch of cash, and then gamble on casinos to funnel the PvP accounts. And that's what we don't want.
Yeah, it needs to be a separate thing. But the nice thing about the civilian class is, and correct me if I'm wrong, like obviously Ian and I have discussed this, but like I'm an idiot sometimes, a lot of the time, and I get things wrong, and Ian has to correct me quite frequently on it. But we will be allowing people to have a civilian class and a normal account too, so like a PvP account. That way, you know, you can keep. And am I right here, Ian? Just before I carry on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So
you'll be able to have one PvP account and one civilian account.
Yeah. So that way, you know, you can still always be embedded in the game, play how you want to, but the times when you do want to have PvP, you can come back in at any time. So essentially, you can have two accounts, two usernames. One is a civilian and one isn't. Civilians will not be able to be shot if they leave Moscow.
Yep.
No,
that's correct. Vaughn. Yeah, they won't be able to be shot. Don't worry. What else? Crews. Crews is also another contentious topic. Civilians will be able to have their own crew.
Okay, no, that's what I was going to say. Will civilians show that on the like their account page that they're civilian?
Not currently, but that can be added. Yeah.
Sorry, like last moment thought by me.
I'm just going to run through the features so they can.
Yeah, go for it. I'll be quiet. I'll shut up.
And we're just going to run through the features. So you can hold crews as a civilian, but you can only accept other civilians into the crew. Likewise, if you're a civilian, you cannot join a crew that is PvP based. Can you partake in the marketplace? Only with other civilians. So everything is kind of siloed. So the marketplace will basically only show things from other civilians, and you'll only be able to sell things to other civilians. You will not be able to switch from the civilian class once you start. You also cannot change to it if you start as a PvP character, for obvious reasons. We don't want people ranking up to Patriarch and then switching to a PvP account and then wiping a bunch of people. Bank, you can only send to civilians or receive from civilians. Civilians do not have bank vaults because there's literally no need for them. So you literally won't be able to access that page. There are no access to bullet factories.
Yeah, because like it just wouldn't work. They would have to buy steel from a non-civilian account, which means that money is going from civilian accounts to non-civilian, and then on top of that, there would just be a ton of bullets constantly in Moscow because there's obviously no one needs to buy them because they're not shooting. But obviously,
hang on. Sorry, it won't be Moscow. It'll be St. Petersburg. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought we removed Moscow, but we didn't. We removed St. Petersburg, right? So, yeah. Sorry, Mike. I was reading your message, and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, yeah, my mistake. We St. Petersburg. That is the Civ city. What else? Marketplace, you'll only list civilian and non-civilian listings depending on your class. No access to bullet factories, no access to steel factories. Casinos, yeah, we all went through them. Escrow, obviously, will also be changed. And so you can only escrow with other civilians.
The thing with crews is civilian crews will not have a cap because obviously that'd be kind of annoying. So we can people can make a crew and they invite their friends and do crew ops and whatnot.
Can your civilian account be able to hold your cars? What do you mean? Like sending cars?
Can you send cars from one side, one account to another account, like civvy to non-civvy?
No. No. Any interaction between PvP accounts and civilian accounts will be, what's the word?
It's kind of like it's airlocked
It
in a
can't
way.
be done. Essentially, civilian, yeah, and any ways to get past the airlock will just result in a ban.
Yeah. So if you do find them,
it
please
would
let
be
us
an
know.
oversight.
Because like
Yeah,
the
and if you
amount of
find
people
them,
that
we
don't
generally reward people for it.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep speaking over you, Ian. There's a like ping issue.
That's all good. I am not going to say that, low killer. As far as class perks, yeah. So as we mentioned, the stock market will be available. The stock market will only be available when you reach rank 5. So somebody mentioned, will it be a money printer? Let me quickly find that.
We did have stock market, yes, but the issue is in the PvP aspect of the game, it was just a money printer. There was no risk. Like, yes, very rarely, like they did go bankrupt and you wouldn't get your money. However, it was so rare that it just made people millions per day. So we removed them to help the economy of the game better. Like, because scarcity does help economies in some way. But the thing with civilians is it doesn't really matter if there's a ton of money in the game. So we thought it'd be a nice thing that once you get to level 3, I want to say, civilian, you unlock the stock market as like a bonus. So
5.
Okay, 5. So it allows you to...
It's the last thing you unlock.
Okay. So it allows you to like look forward to progressing to something that's going to aid you later on in your gameplay.
Yeah. The civilian class is definitely based on longevity. Like, don't expect to have to rank up to level 5 in a day. It'll be more like, I want to estimate maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then people will start getting access to the stock market, which is why we kind of want to allow people to have a civilian account and a PvP account so they can kind of interchange what they want to do.
Yeah. Obviously, so you're only ever allowed one civilian account still.
Is going to be... Yes. And I'm just going to get up the rest of the patch notes.
All right. While you do that, I'm going to change the Discord server because I feel like Discord's being a pain. I'm going to change it to...
But we're not speaking Dutch.
And change it to US East. One of the servers is going down at the moment. You stole a word from the Dutch language. Oh, okay. Can you hear me all right, Ian? You just say something?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh, ping seems way better now. You would take, like, it was like a solid 5 seconds when you would, like, start replying to me.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so the other patch notes are... Somebody found a way to send vehicles to dead people. I don't know why they would ever do this, but that's been fixed. The bank vault cap has now been reduced. So before it was 2 billion, now it's 1 billion. So if you try and deposit, if you deposit more money than the 1 billion, it will just error out. We allow skipping weapon training. That was a request. We've made it so to send friend requests, you also need to disable transfers, or rather enable transfers. Yogi will now show in jail. The scrolling has been fixed for the bullet factory. Somebody mentioned that on the vertical monitor that the capture kept getting cut off, so we solved that. The robbery scrolling should also be fixed, so you should be able to access it a little more on mobile. There was a fix for crimes. So, for those that aren't aware, it was almost impossible to get to jail for crimes. That has now been fixed. So you may find after the patch that went out that you'll go to jail a little bit more often because you previously didn't at all. Yes, Locula, there will be a separate civilian market.
Yeah, and didn't we also include something else to do with credits and money?
Cash for credits will be an option, at least at the start. So you'll be able to
For
exchange.
the civilian class, not PvP. Just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Can
we make it so we can see people on our friends list in jail? No, we can't. People abuse the friends list to keep track of other people, which is why we made it so you had to enable transfers to allow requests. I remember this being a problem a few rounds back, actually, but it never got addressed. In next gen, there'll be an actual
like you've got to accept, don't you?
Yeah, there's an entire relationship system actually. So you can add people and block people, and when you add people, they'll actually get a request and a little push notification that says, "Hey, this person has added you."
Yeah.
And then your actions and things will show up in the feed to be more community orientated.
Weren't we also teasing the idea about marriage?
Yeah, marriage is an interesting one. I think it could work out quite well in next gen as like a little small feature we release at some point, because we know there are quite a few people that are married.
And if you're married, like it would give you like a little boost in XP percentage.
Yeah,
it's like The Sims but with murder. That's funny.
So I guess the last thing to cover about the civilian class is there is no PvP like whatsoever right now.
How will operations work? Because I feel like that's going to be a question, so I figured I'd ask it.
I already addressed that. You'll be able to murder in operations.
Okay,
but you'll only be able to murder the people that are in the operations.
So, okay, yeah. Oh, good.
What about extortion? That's a good shout, actually. I don't think I covered extortion. I'll note that down.
So the operations have always. Can we add more ops? So for the sake of people listening on the podcast, Lady Ice asked if we can add more operations to the game, and I'm going to use this opportunity to be like, I've written
30?
Like a lot of operations that we want to add to the game, which have like story arcs and like different progressions. So like if you decide to do something on a certain mission, like you'll go like start working for a different guy and he gives you a bunch of different missions that are more murder based, and like there might be one that's more auto theft based, but it's not something we're wanting to do during Legacy, I think. But like they are there and they have been written, and if we find that like next gen's like taking too long, we might add a couple to like spice stuff up. Different storylines with different people. Like I want to ingrain the characters that you work with, like the NPCs, way more into kind of CrimeBloc, because I feel like right now it's you get your mission and you're like, you don't feel connected to this character. It doesn't feel like you're talking to someone else. It feels like you just generic words and you just go to the wiki and have a look at what you need to do anyway. So the bodyguard should play a part in this. Like the bodyguard system? Sorry, I'm treating this like it's a live stream rather than a podcast. You got anything to add to that, Ian, or?
I'm just looking back. Ruben asked a question somewhere. Why reset? Is it to get more players back to the game? I mean, we reset generally, once every 6 months on average?
Yeah.
And it's been pretty much 6 months.
I think
so it kind of makes sense to do that now.
A big thing for us was we wanted to release the civilian class before next round, so it could be like just finalized and bug checked, because it's something new that's to CrimeBloc that's never been in CrimeBloc, and so thus when we go into the next round, we can heavily advertise that more to get into like the old school players who don't have time to play in PvP but want to be part of the community still. So we are using the reset to bring them back to help build those numbers and the community with the people that you all know and love over the years that you've played CrimeBloc.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the I want to say the market's changed. The kind of player base has definitely changed. As people have grown up, they have a lot less time to do things. And when a lot of people like message me and be like, I kind of hate re-signing up. So the civilian class is kind of there for lurkers and people that just want to be around.
No, civilian class are not going to get their own forum. That's what crew forums are for. Purely because, like, right now, I think we can all agree, like, the forum isn't as active as would like it to be. Because, let's be honest, the pattern is, like, you go to jail, you go to the forum. But if nothing's updated, then it's you click off the game. So ideally, the more players we have, the more active the forum is. And whenever you go to jail, you know, you read your topics. You're like, oh, I'll get into this like fun game, or we'll carry on trolling Mayo because he's crying about something else or something. So that was meant to be funny, by the way. If Mayo, if you're listening, I apologize.
But it will inevitably happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see. Do you want to cover the question from Van? Read it out loud for the podcast.
Glad to see last round's leaders in LP. Are we going to get the chance? Oh, okay. Okay. Glad to see the last round's leaders in leaderboard points. Are we going to get a chance to know leaderboard point positioning currently prior to round end?
So, like, is that for this round, I assume?
Yeah, that'd be for this round.
Yeah.
I haven't considered it, but I did mention to somebody to ask me about it closer to the round end, and I would look into it. So, potentially.
Yeah. The problem with, like, the leaderboard points are really useful for, like, Ian and myself because it allows us to, like, monitor things and such. And it was fun last round having them, but the amount of, like, oh, it's impossible that person's doing that amount of points in this many days and stuff. And we'd investigate, and a lot of the time it was just that they were better gamers than them. So it became a nuisance, really, if I'm honest, because it was constantly like having to check these people, because we take every report seriously and we do dig in as much as we can whenever someone does report. So it was just taking a lot of time away from stuff that needed to be done, such as, like, you know, new classes and next gen and stuff. So yeah.
Also, everyone in CrimeBloc has a PhD in maths, apparently.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. But yeah, I also read LP as Lord Pringles every single time. Like, it's not like it's on the class. No, it's next to your rank, is it? And you've got like 6,000 LPs.
Yep. Are we gonna cover about halfway through now? So I guess we cover next gen.
Yeah.
And our plan with that.
The next gen, I am like there for it, you know? Like, anytime I meet up with Ian, he's on his phone, right? And he's just he's doing his crimes on next gen, like via the app. And it's just so nice.
Yeah, it is. It's terribly addictive. I hate it.
Yeah, because like not normal CrimeBloc, obviously, even if you just use in the web browser, it doesn't feel as streamlined and responsive as you feel like it should be for a mobile. But like when, like, I have access to the app too, obviously. But it's like when you press it, it feels like you're actually playing a game rather than I clicked the button.
I think the great thing is with it, we were able to go back and actually deal with UI problems, like user interface problems. So for a lot of people on the CrimeBloc page, for example, they press tab space to run through like all the crimes. But if you're on mobile, it's really finicky. You've got to like tap this tiny little button. So in next gen, you can basically click the entire bar, or tap the entire bar rather, of the crime, and it will do it. So you don't need to like be all finicky with it.
Lady Ice has asked, will there be a way to condense cars or maybe organize them by type? You can already do that in normal CrimeBloc. You just have to change it from graphical view to list view. I realize it's counterintuitive, but yeah, it's already a thing. Just to let you know.
And Ruben, that goes the same with kind of auto thefts and stuff too. Like we're going to make things much more easy to tap. Because I despise the current mobile version.
Dude, I've got fat thumbs. I can't press things. Like, but in next gen, do not bring my thumbs into this like that. In next gen, yeah, I don't have an issue navigating. Like, the things are big enough, and it feels natural. You know, you're not saying click here. It's just, oh, I'm going to click that because my brain knows to click that.
Indeed. Yeah, laptop with touch panel will also work a lot better on next gen.
Yeah, completely.
So, the next gen update, we've completed a bunch more tests. We've basically doubled our test library. And I know I touched on this before, but I kind of want to briefly touch on why we do test-driven development. For example, I'm going to use the civilian class, right? If we had test-driven development, it would be much easier to find the edge cases. For example, we'd write a test that says, you cannot change class if you are already a class, right? But we have to manually do that right now. And this is one of the big problems, and it's going to be a big improvement from Legacy into Next Gen. Being able to say, this works, because all the tests pass. And now we've increased our test library this month by almost 50%. We really are getting kind of a lot of coverage. We've made some progress on operations and items. So there's a brand new inventory screen, which, you know what, I'll drop that right now in the chat for you all.
Ooh. Future Tom, make sure you put this in the video on YouTube because I'll forget.
Yes.
We are 27 minutes in.
I take it back. I can't. I need to open my laptop.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on my PC, but I don't have Next Gen on my PC.
Yeah. 27 minutes in. Show image. There we go.
Cool.
Obviously, we caught you on the podcast.
Yeah, so head over to YouTube and check it out at 27 minutes and 30 seconds, roughly.
Yeah.
The skill tree has started. The skill tree work, kind of planning that a little bit.
You had an idea about the skill tree, didn't you? Regarding, like, just having the civilian class be one of the first things that you can choose on the skill tree, but that would lock you out from PvP type thing. Or am I wrong? I actually had that for the next round. So instead of actually having the classes, we'd actually get skill trees in Legacy. And then basically the first point you can spend will give you the option to kind of be in murder or not. But we don't know whether that's happening, so we're not going to promise anything. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of next gen, not next round. But
oh no.
Now that bags out the water, Ian. Well done.
Well, now that you mention it,
yeah.
We're actually going to cover the PvP in a second. I made some updates and fixes to the forum. Extortion logs now collect all data about items taken. So Legacy currently logs a little bit, kind of about what items you get. Next gen will be everything, and there'll be many more things that you can actually steal from them. We're currently around 60% through the refactor as far as the code base goes. So for those that don't know, we started this project a very, very long time ago. and
Galaxy far away.
yeah, and there were some mistakes in the engineering side from me, and I'm rectifying those mistakes so that we can be much more efficient going forward. Because as we've brought on another developer and we want to kind of bring on another one as well, the code base needs to be easy to read, easy to understand, and that currently isn't the case. So we're working on that. The gym has started, and that kind of goes with PvP. So, do we tell them about the PvP?
I don't want to say yeah. Like, is there a little something we can give them? I want to tease them a bit, like get their brains thinking. Don't keep that secret. Tell us.
Okay, so murder is going to drastically change.
Yeah, it has to. Like, it's 2024. Didn't have to look at the calendar for that one. Murder, in essence, it's honestly a double-edged sword. It's murder kills the game, which is not what you want to hear from like admins, but you know, like we have found that when a player joins the game, first-time player, they won't come back once they're killed. Why would they? They feel defeated. They've worked all this progress, and bam, they're dead. We're hoping, obviously, the civilian class helps that, because that way you have a safe place to learn how the game works before you go into the PvP aspect of the game. But as of right now, Ian and I have come to an agreement that murder hurts the game more than anything else. So in next gen, we are looking at alternatives that doesn't like remove your account. But that doesn't mean that it can't be something that is brought back in the future. Just starting out, we want to get as much players in as possible, build that community, build CrimeBloc. Like, everyone talks about the glory days and how, like, you know, back then there was like 100, 200 players. We want to reach more than that. You just got to next gen heaven. Yeah. So, like, that's all I want to share on it. Like, it's more of an opinion rather than a feature. Like, hey, this is what we're gonna do with it. But Ian, if you want to trickle anything in, I'm more than happy. Like,
we also want to make it more versatile, I guess, is the most important thing. So at the moment it's very black and white, right? And we've tried bodyguards, and we've tried altering how the formula works, and nothing really is working. So we want people to be able to kind of find their own path, and this is where also the skill tree comes in. Like, if you want to specialize in pistols, for example, your pistols will do more damage. If you want to focus on rifles, then your rifles will do more damage. So you can kind of have that specialty, and you'll be able to essentially fight others. I don't want to reveal too much. But yeah, we'll be able to have a lot more competition around it. We'll be able to have various tournaments. So, for example, maybe on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'd have a clan war tournament, right? Or not a clan war tournament, sorry, a crew war tournament. And what that would entail is basically you declare war on another crew, and then whoever beats the shit out of each other more kind of wins. So it takes a lot more into account. I think it'll be a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable. Because at least for me,
could be a game like more like a chess, where like, all right, you bring more pistols because we know these guys fight with something that is weak against pistols or something.
Yeah. So it just opens the avenue for so much more. And here's the inventory page. The images still need some work, but we're
yeah. Did I resend them to you?
Yeah, you did. I just haven't.
Okay.
I've been so stuck with the civilian class and stuff.
Something messed up with them, and so the white line isn't meant to be there.
Yeah. But the inventory is also going to get more updates because the idea is that you're going to have quite a lot of items. It's no longer going to be kind of the default 11, 12 items, I believe. So, yeah, that'll be different. Crew Wars, PvP, new inventory page, locations. Locations are such an interesting part of next gen because at the moment you fly to a place and the only thing that changes is the
name.
cities.
Yeah.
And the name.
Casinos, yeah.
And who's in jail.
No, who's in jail is public across all now. We changed it a while back.
Oh shit. Well, the name of the jail is still
the
name of the place you're in, I think.
Yeah.
However, in next gen, we're going to be having a much more interesting type of city.
Welcome to Manchester. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, that is one of the test cities.
Go on.
So, when you go to a city, I'm not going to answer that. I'll answer it in a second. When you go to a city, each city will have its own weather, right? And that weather is actually based off real life. So if you go to Moscow and it's minus 10 degrees and snowing, like fucking blizzard and stuff, then that's going to be in the game too. And now it's like, oh, but is it only display? Is it only just going to tell you that little bit of information? No. Weather is actually affecting your crimes. It affects your auto thefts and it affects your other actions in game. If it is sunny, if it is raining, if it's snowing, there are so many different types and they all slightly alter things. They might not be entirely noticeable.
It's like, but, if it's a blizzard outside, like you're not going to have a ton of people on the street to pickpocket, are you? Because they're going to be inside.
Exactly. Also, if it's really sunny, there's going to be a lot of people. So you're going to want to, maybe the timing is reduced. Maybe the chance is increased. If it's a blizzard, your chance is increased a lot. Because if you steal something in a blizzard, then yeah, it's going to be hard to catch you. But also, you're going to be slower because it's icy and it's cold. So the weather does suck in the UK, I agree.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Europe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's still Europe, and Europe has some nice weather. It's just the UK doesn't.
Yeah. But it's these little details which are going to be put in the game, which have a slight effect. It gives more reason
dynamic
to go to different cities, go to different places. Yeah.
Will the setting be changing in next gen? Setting?
Oh yes, Vaughn. You totally, definitely will fail your robbery because you get stuck in the snowbank. That is an excellent idea.
Oh no, we'll be keeping I want to keep to Eastern Europe. I feel like CrimeBloc with the C, not a block like a Minecraft block, is it's important to keep it to Eastern Europe. Europe in general. Sorry, but like I don't see a problem with like in the future. You know, we might have like a other worlds type thing where. All right, we have some missions that are based in like LA and Miami, Dallas, New York. That could be interesting, but that's not something that's like on the page or anything.
The immediate city expansion will kind of be the rest of the block. So kind of like Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, because we don't really have places like that. It's mainly Ukraine and Russia at the moment.
Yep.
So yeah, there's lots of choice, and with the weather system, it would be nice to kind of have. Maybe it'll be more local, so Portugal or something. You know, something with different climates, because the more varied climates, the more reason for people to travel, the more reason for people to kind of explore the world.
Yeah,
because that's what we're doing. We're kind of world building a little bit. You know, bringing in the new operations, actually building up storylines. Yeah, we just want to make it much better than it is currently.
Dynamic. I feel like CrimeBloc is great, has been great. Best game in the world. You guys should continue to play. I'm a bit biased. But at the end of the day, there could be more effort to make sure things are more dynamic. Things are constantly changing. You're essentially on guard, right? With, all right, how can I be most efficient with my time here? And so this, every action you do, every thought that you do has a reaction.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely want to bring that dynamic in.
Yeah.
It's a shame that we can't get this in Legacy. I'd love to get it in Legacy. It's just
have you ever seen that meme where it's like it's fine and everything's on fire? That's what I imagine Legacy is, and you're just sat in the middle. You're the little dog in the little hat.
Great, I've been demoted to a dog.
Well, you were a sheep. Now you're a dog which controls sheep?
A sheep dog.
Yeah!
There we go. We nailed it.
Oh, God. Well, no, a lot of interesting things. When do we have... I'm being devil's advocate here because like the like producer inside of me is like, all right, I need to ask the questions that makes Ian uncomfortable, but what people want to hear. Even though I'm the owner and already know. But will we have an alpha, a beta for next gen? Like,
we will. So for those that have been paying attention. Okay, April the 1st. It's not actually an April Fool's Day. It is somebody's birthday.
Is that what's on your profile?
Yeah. So,
see, he wouldn't even tell me what this date was. He was like pulling me along, saying, you'll figure it out. And I never did.
Yeah, so something's happening then. I'm not going to tell you what. Could be an alpha, could be a beta, could be nothing.
Just closing CrimeBloc, mate. Just bye.
That'd be funny.
Kidding, just so we're clear. That was a joke. It's been done before. Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. I feel like I've been in this community long enough to know that I can give you guys enough respect to tell you that I would be closing the doors. It's not Ian's birthday.
No, my birthday was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And he had bone marrow.
It's a pop.
by the bucket.
I sent that picture to somebody and they were like, is that nice? And I'm like,
bone marrow is
yes,
so good.
It's so good.
Sorry if you guys aren't meat eaters, but missing out. What?
Is it even meat?
Yeah.
Can vegetarians eat it?
No.
Really?
It's a byproduct, I guess. But it's...
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, like, I guess the thought process, if you take it out, it's not going to do well without it. Can you just buy that? Yeah?
Yeah, it's basically a bone that you just kind of cut open and then do stuff with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cook it. I don't know how to cook it, but...
Ian's told me that I need to cook it. I know what it is. Yeah, oven some spice.
With some spice.
Yeah.
It just melts in your mouth. It's like,
forbidden butter.
Yes.
Yeah, so I know that, like, I'm not going to say anything before you start worrying, Ian. But
no, you're going to shoot me in the foot.
No, I'm not.
I feel it.
There also might be something else that comes to next gen. Not next gen, sorry, next round. But we'll have to stay tuned for episode 3. Cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to mention it then. And then
no. I told you, I literally said, like, I'm not going to, like, but you're going to think I'm going to. Lord Pringle is back. He's been messaging, but I don't think he re-signed up once his account got killed. But I'm hoping that he takes advantage of the civilian class because that would suit him. Stu.
Is Stu? That's Lani's husband. Yeah. No idea. I don't think I've
it's
seen
up to him. Like that's another thing. A lot of people have said like, oh, I didn't realize that you guys like had CrimeBloc back and running. Like Mike, who's in this Discord right now, said the same thing to me, and I'm like, well, we posted on the Facebook, we posted on the Twitter, but for some reason it just. We need you guys to share it, right? Like, if you're on Facebook, please. Like, it sounds so generic right now, but if you see posts of like new rounds and stuff, please share it. Please tell your friends who used to play CrimeBloc, especially with the civilian class coming out, because I think it's gonna mean a lot to a lot of people who don't have time to play the game anymore. And even though like we do Facebook posts and we advertise them as well, they're for some reason not going to the followers who have followed the Facebook page. So, Lady Ice, thank you for posting it. I don't have much time, but still like. Well, Zante, you can still kill because you can have a civilian class and a PvP class. You can have 2 accounts.
Ruben, how will civilian casinos work? They can only be traded or won when the owner is busted. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Vaughn, how are we going to start up civilian accounts? You go on to sign up and you create an account.
Can they use the same email, Ian? Not right now. Got it.
Yeah, see, in next gen you'll be able to have multiple characters. We already have this entire system set up. Unfortunately for Legacy, we don't. How will the email work? Okay, so fun fact. If you have Gmail, for example, how will email work then for D2A?
Because like if you have the same email on both accounts and you D2A, then it will the
Well, you can't use the same email. The email has to be unique.
Okay. So that answers my question.
What's stopping us from making 1 million accounts?
The admins. Like we'll ban you. Like it's against the rule. Like we are. So the rules have been written now because in episode 1 of the podcast, Ian shunned me, and told everyone that I have taken way too long to write the rules. So I have finished said rules. I've had a couple of eyes on them. I think they're currently in a good standing. I want to keep the terms of user agreement there, but the rules are going to get an overhaul. I think most of the rules are self-explanatory. But one of the biggest changes is probably removing the IP limitation of OCing if you're on the same IP, because it just wasn't worth like the hassle. It doesn't gain people much benefit, but like it was a nightmare for us. So people in the same household will be able to OC with each other.
But we'll cover that when the rules come out because they're not really set in stone yet. So saying one thing now and then you being surprised later when it's not actually a thing. We're still working on it, but it will be out for next round.
Lady Ice asks, I've been back a few months. What's the deal with going to a friend's house and both playing? Will we both be banned? So as long as you follow the rules with the IP sharing, then you'll be fine. Obviously, once you go back onto your own IPs, you can play as normal. If you want to be extra cautious, it never hurts to give us a little heads up, like send a help desk message and be like, hey, just let you know, I'm visiting Arlo, just a random name that came to mind, and we're going to be on the same IP for a week. Obviously, we're not going to breach any rules during that week, but if before or after this time slot you see like trading or anything like that, then that is not on the same IP. We're not the same place. What are the rules? I'm going tomorrow. The rules are already on the CrimeBloc website. So if you navigate to crimebloc.com and then go to help desk, and then on the right side it says CrimeBloc rules of gameplay. And then on section 3, it says sharing IP addresses. So as of right now, you cannot participate in the same organized crime. You cannot transfer money or credits, including National Bank, Crew Bank, Bank Vault, or via third party, aka middlemen. So having a friend trade money for you. You're not allowed to participate in the same killing spree. You are allowed to be in the same crew. And obviously, end all kind of rule is you're not allowed to log into any other account other than your own. So, like, they're pretty easy rules to abide by. Just the OC one right now kind of mixes you up if you go to a friend's house. But when the new rules are posted, we will be, I will make a forum post about it, so you're all aware. Yeah, I agree that, like, the OCing is hard because friends OC together, like...
Ruben.
Ruben said, for the sake of podcast, because podcast and comedy at this point, because it is a good comment. Ruben said, just don't have friends. Problem solved, guys. Yeah. I feel you there. See, I didn't have friends, so no one would OC with me.
That's because they wanted to murder you over and over and over again.
Yeah, I enjoyed having, 64 accounts. That was great. Do we have anything else to cover, Ian?
Yeah.
April, we're gonna have more information on on the release of Next Generation. Future CrimeBlocs looking pretty good. The 3 top prize winners have claimed their prizes, so they'll be sent out on the 4th of February. Wait, what's this? I think I missed this, Ian, in the Next Gen, unless it was glossed over.
What?
Sorry, I'm highlighting it in the website.
Oh yeah, you missed that. I've done that.
Okay, my bad. All right.
Somebody said when the reset is, and it will be January, February, March.
March 1st. 1st of March.
Ish.
Yeah. We should probably make a forum post because it'd be a bit unfair if, like, the people who would listen. Yeah.
But we're gonna do that when we figure out the credit rollover and stuff like that. But yeah, I say ish because the 1st is a Friday, so we might need a
that
day
could
down.
Be good.
No, unfortunately, not February the 31st. My calendar lied to me. Or rather, I was looking at January.
You need that calendar with the fans on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if James is going to flip it over.
It'll probably still be in January next year, so.
Well, at least it'd be accurate.
True. Skip the post. Favor the ones listening. No, we can't do that. You know how the community can be. Yeah, so we'll get the patch notes up when we send them all live. A few of you might have noticed already that a few have already gone live. That was for our sanity more than anything, because they needed to be fixed. Why do people keep saying oil in public chat on Discord? I don't know.
This is a good question.
This is a good question.
I have my theory.
Oh, go on.
Actually, I have 2 theories. Oh, is it just because of Dax?
I thought it was banned.
He misspelled okay. Dude, how do you even type that, Ruben? Like, what? Okay. See, I had some different theories, and none of them were as simple as that.
I am happy that here, episode 2, oil has been debunked as a what the That's amazing.
Okay, Vaughn's just turned into a pig. Oink.
Oink.
You missed the N.
Oink. Oink. Well, that's great. For the people that are listening on Spotify, YouTube, please join our game, CrimeBloc.com. That's CrimeBloc.com. Sign up for free, and yeah, like join our Discord too. You can join that via the CrimeBloc website. We have lots of banter to do with oil. Oh wait, we're gonna take questions. We're gonna take questions. I was just doing a sideline ad while we transition into the questions. So just to round out this episode, Ian, do you have anything else you want to cover or anything?
No.
Okay. So no. I mean, it's mostly you in these things anyway. I'm just here for to ask you questions that you don't feel comfortable answering.
You are the narrator.
What's your shoe size?
7.
Wow. Two
Actually,
less
maybe it's
than
7.5.
Oh, I didn't
we
know.
have giant feet.
I don't have giant feet. 9 is average. We're still talking about feet, right? Anyway.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so we're going to open up the floor to questions to people who are listening live in the Discord right now. If we missed your question earlier, please just repost them. Save us from scrolling frantically around.
I don't understand what you mean, Lady Ice.
Fix that when we see our names when we make them. Oh. So when you're re-signing up. Oh,
can you?
So apparently on mobile, for the sake of the podcast, Ian, like obviously I get. So on mobile, you can't see what you're typing when you're signing up to CrimeBloc. Let's give this a test. I've see like stuff like this is so useful if like you can get a screen recording, then like we can just see. Well, seems fine for me. Is it when you're re-signing up?
It'll be on the graveyard post,
okay.
death page, right?
This is why they asked for like a back to home screen button.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't look into it. Ian, how do you feel about looking into that, mate?
Yes.
See, Raise Up said, "Thank goodness my name is simple," but he fails to understand that it's Rise Up, not Raise Up.
Oh, such a good song. Rise.
Yeah, so like if you guys can get any images of that, obviously like it helps us debug things a lot quicker. Like if it's a PC thing or it's a iPhone thing or an Android thing, please let us know. The Ruben asks, are there any changes, ideas you have for next gen for the gamblers?
Good question. Good question.
Moving on. I have things. No, kidding. Do you want to answer it? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We don't have an answer.
Okay, good. that's exactly the same answer that I had.
Pretty much. Yeah.
We have casinos. Like just so we're clear, we have casinos. But they're complicated.
Sure. Let's go with complicated.
Ian and I do extensive research for tax purposes at casinos, and we understand like how the dealer wins certain games. Obviously, like casinos near us don't have nearly as much games that CrimeBloc.com gets to offer. So, but for the ones that our casino does have, we are finding. Okay, that's how the dealer makes their money, which is great because it seems fair, rather than just having numbers and math. So, for example, like on roulette, like the dealer having 2 double zeros or something like that, right? And we are using that information to progress it into CrimeBloc so that we can make a more, I'm going to say realistic, but it's not realistic because it's a game. So any like gambling commissions that come after us saying you're not allowed to gamble because you don't have a gamble license. It's a game. No one's gambling with real money. Yeah. Oh, I had a question,
it's a tough
Ian.
one. Oh, okay.
I feel bad asking this live with you.
Good. Raise Up has a question too. Raise Up, what's your question? Please save me. Save me.
Dodged. Rejected. I've forgotten it already.
Good.
No, how did I forget it? Oh, civilians, right?
Oh. Yes. Good question. Raise Up.
Stop! You made me forget again. If civilians want to die on their account,
yep.
Is there a possibility where we open up Russian roulette? To
I
civilians?
knew it. Yeah, maybe.
All right, cool.
It's super expensive to shoot. Yeah, it is. You see the double-edged sword with this problem, though, right? If we make it really cheap, then the problem comes as people will just shoot everybody. If we make it really expensive, then not many people shoot. So we've got to find that balance. And fortunately, we only have to deal with it for this round.
Raise Up's funding my mortgage. I'm kidding,
Raise
by
Up
the way.
It's not funding my mortgage. You wonder why they make all options cost more credits and money. Go figure. I mean, that's a really kind of sad thing to say, to be fair. Given that I put in the bullet limitation for credits because I didn't want people spending a shit ton of money buying bullets.
Like, because like previous rounds, with like before Ian and I were running the show, there was no limitations to bullets. So like if you wanted to drop £10,000 on bullets to wipe out the entire game, you could. There was no problem with that. It makes someone's bank account a lot heavier. Ian removed this and so put a daily limitation on it, so you couldn't do that because it wasn't fair for the gameplay. It wasn't fair for the economy of the game. And like that being said, it doesn't help us in any way. And even though I wasn't like adminning and stuff back then, it was still a decision that I agreed with Ian with because it was better for the game. And I think any player would agree that it was better for the game. Sorry, rant over.
No, it's all good. It sometimes needs to be pointed out that we have changed things to actually reduce it. So no, this isn't entirely all about money. If it was all about money, there would be a lot more things in the game.
Van asks, once the civilians are introduced, will we be able to swap our current accounts into it? No.
Yeah, Ruben, there'd be a ton of MTX like everywhere because people would buy it, you know. But we don't. So
yeah, like I think I want to say like Ian and I, we fall into the victim category of microtransactions. I'm not going to say your vices, Ian, but like mine has been RuneScape over the years with their treasure hunter
bonds
and
the treasure hunters.
And bonds, yeah. So like we don't want to create a game where it has microtransactions that are gotcha, right? Which is kind of like a saying with mobile apps where like you're forced to spend money to be better.
Which is a terrible business decision. I just want to point that out.
We want people to enjoy playing a game. Yes, there's going to be monetization options, but they're not a necessity. You don't need them to play the game. You don't need them to progress through the game. They're there because you want to buy them. And obviously they help us. They help the development of the game. Every game has to make money, right? And it's a sour subject, really, because like there's always going to be two sides of it. There's going to be the people who need the money for the development and the people who don't want the game to have any monetized options.
Honestly, we could have an entire podcast just on all the conversations we've had about how to monetize things.
It'd be very dramatic.
It would, and
I don't think it would have a live chat on that one. Just like hide in a corner for the entire stream.
But I think it'd be interesting because we both have very different opinions on some things, right?
Or like it depends. Like business sense, like yes. Like, but if we're talking like from the heart, I feel like we're quite aligned. I can hear you shaking your head even though you're not making sound, but
no, it was just deep breaths.
Okay.
Yeah, I maybe we do have a podcast on it. Yeah. I want to say, let's just do a short podcast on it, and then it'll turn out to be like 2 hours long.
But this one's already an hour and 10 minutes, so
yeah, it's a little bit longer than we wanted, right?
I'm not fussed. I'm chill. You're late, so blame it on you. All right. Yeah.
I get shot back every time I shoot losing knives and health, so in order to kill another, I have to use. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is one of the counters of kind of shooting. If we made it just cash, that you just went to the hospital and kind of instantly refilled your health for like, I don't know, whatever, 20 million, it would be so much cheaper. And then you're basically avoiding the point of that chance to lose health.
Yeah. And then like on top of that, like there are cash options to gain health back. Like you go to a hospital, you can't be shot at while in hospital. Because you're healing.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go for it. Raise up. I'm happy to have this conversation. It's just a really tough one to have. Backfire can't. Well, yeah, it can. It has a very small chance.
Isn't the chance like pretty minuscule? But like so much shooting happens that it's just like, oh, this happens a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So just like rounding up, guys. Any more questions? That aren't like just the
bait.
Yeah. Obviously, any really heavy questions we'll save for another episode of the CrimeBloc Diary Dev Talks.
I mean, lady, it is minuscule. It's just the fact that
Lady Ice, yeah.
RNG.
Yeah, that's another thing. Maybe we can cover that in a topic at some point. How RNG is.
Or what it is and how it works.
Yeah, because like I think I had someone upset the other day. I'm not obviously going to name names, but they were asking about how to get bodyguards and that they don't seem to be working, but that is RNG. It's kind of just how it is. It sucks because obviously, like, you know, I feel for you. Like, if you've spent like 12 hours in a game, you've just been really unlucky. Don't forget to post missed 30 minutes. Oh yeah. Liv, we're gonna post it. I'm literally like, I'll get it sent out to Spotify as soon as possible. And then YouTube's gonna take a little bit longer, but I'll make sure to post it in the announcements channel for you. But if that's all, then I think we're good to call it and come back next month. Obviously, it's going to be sooner rather than later, but it's going to be the pre-round podcast. I guess.
Yep. We'll go over all the changes that are going to happen, so we can keep you informed.
Yeah, I mean, we enjoy these. I enjoy these. It's just timing is a bit hard at some points to like schedule them in, but we'll get there. We'll get into a routine.
Yeah, I need to give Tom like an entire month to decide when he can
find
a night, and he chooses literally one of the last days of the month.
Shh, leave me alone. At least we have more to talk about now. I feel like if it was early in the month, then it would have been like ifs and buts rather than like facts.
Fuck. Yeah, maybe. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Ruben.
Okay. See you guys next month. Thank you all for joining. And yeah, that wraps up episode 2 of the podcast.